It's a brand new year, and my father is here, and we're buying a stairway to Kirblog. Well, not really. I mean, you don't have to take a stairway. You can just go to my channel and watch it. Hi, everybody. It's 2016 now. We're recording this still in December. It's not even Christmas yet for us, but for you, it's a brand new year, and my father is here. Again, hi. Say hi.
Hi, everyone.
So, hopefully, you have already heard the one we recorded previously about growing up in the Pokemon era and making my dad suffer. I mean, having my dad beat me in Pokemon Stadium. I mean, hi.
Hi.
Welcome back, Dadifer, Kirbodad.
How is everyone? And in case Kirb never told you, but he never beat me in Pokemon.
We're ringing in 2016. So I wanted to have Dad record another one with me because while I wanted to end Pokecember with talking about just the franchise in and of itself, because there was enough to fill a whole hour talking about that, but I wanted to travel back a little even further in time before Pokemon hit the U.S. and just talk about a particular thing that really helped bring us together, and that was playing a lot of video games together. And what are you doing in my setup here?
Nothing.
Okay,
Sorry.
it's okay.
Fidgeting.
I'll forgive you. Somewhere in my black heart, I'll forgive you. So I wanted to talk with Dadifer, with Kirbodad, with Victor, as the Holy Mother likes to call you, Victor, about gaming. So, Dad, hi.
Hi. I'm
Hi.
here.
You're listening. I'm not saying anything.
I'm waiting to the point where we played Buster Bunny, and I played the game, and you jumped.
You're already getting ahead of yourself. Well, I actually want to go to before I even came into existence. What was your experience with playing video gammon back in the 80s? Before, when I was just a twinkle in your eye.
It was Atari. It was, Pong. That was basically it.
No Pac-Man or Space Invaders, none of that stuff. Really? No.
Well, we had a Pac-Man machine in the house.
Like a cabinet?
Yeah, we had a regular arcade game.
Wow.
Vic had Pac-Man, and I think we also had the Space Invaders.
Oh, my brother did.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Those are expensive though.
Yeah, I think we had two of them in his bedroom.
Wow. Were they like cheaper to get back then, I guess, or?
I don't remember what I paid for them. Actually, I think one was gifted to me, I think I bought one. And we had a pinball machine.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. Well, pinball is its own kind of thing, but did you play much like growing up?
No.
So did I get you into games more or less?
Yeah,
okay.
I had one of the first Atari consoles, and I remember we bought it at a store called Fortune. Said it was $99 back then, and
wow.
This was probably in the early '70s. But all you could play was Pong.
And that was a 2600 Atari.
It was.
Fuck if I know.
I don't know.
Well, I guess to further shed the light on how stereotypically white privileged American our family was, we had both a...
Stop that.
What? I mean, because as I've learned later, and I had to, check my privilege on this, we had both a Nintendo, an original, or as we used to call it, a regular Nintendo as opposed to a Super Nintendo, and a Sega Genesis.
Yes.
I don't think you really ever got to experience this, but as I was getting older and learning, that was a war back in the day. When you were a kid in the early 90s, you either got a Nintendo, or like a Super Nintendo or otherwise,
you were either a Republican or a Democrat. Exactly.
or a Sega Genesis.
No, but we had both because...
well, Allie had... I think Allie had the NES.
I never played games with Allie. I just remember...
Allie's my older sister, by the way.
I just remember...
we got a Genesis in one of our early houses.
And then we that was to play Sonic.
Yeah, the Sonic machine.
Came Knuckles, and then it had the piggyback cartridge.
That's right, Sonic and Knuckles. That's right.
I remember all of that.
Yeah, I'm actually impressed that you remember that.
So now, what was Tiny Toons was which system? Then?
That was Sega Genesis.
Okay.
So Dad and I had an NES, which I believe I inherited from my sister Allie. No, you know what? I just realized I did get the Genesis from Allie because she used to play Michael Jackson's Moonwalker on that. So I think that when she was doing high school and probably she was doing a lot of theater and she was filming Pete and Pete. For those of you who don't know that already, my sister Allison was Ellen on the Nickelodeon sitcom Pete and Pete. So she was probably busy filming and doing a lot of shit, didn't have a lot of time for games. But in one of our early houses, we had our Genesis set up, and I got Sonic as my first big thing because I was really, really big into Sonic and the cartoons were airing at that time. But we probably rented a lot of stuff on those systems, and I can't remember if we owned what Dad is referring to. Tiny Toon Adventures Buster's Hidden Treasure for the Sega Genesis, and the Tasmania Genesis game as well.
We started out with the game. We rented it. That's when there was a company around called Blockbuster Video.
Ever heard of that, kids?
And we used to rent it every weekend. Remember the little book that we wrote about picking you up on the weekends and start the chant in the back seat?
That was a little later. That was the N64 era, but yeah. So we did own those games eventually. I think we did buy our own copies of them.
Eventually, I bought them because you were just having so much fun jumping around
true.
on the couch behind me.
Well, at the
Christopher didn't actually play the game. I played the game, and Christopher was Buster Bunny jumping from couch to couch and chair to chair,
acting out the levels.
as well as Taz.
Yeah. Well, which one did we get first? Do you remember?
I think we had them both at the same time.
That would have made sense because both of those shows were airing at the same time.
Yeah.
But
I enjoyed Taz. Taz was a great game.
Taz is actually an awful game
It
that
was
we
just lame at the end.
No. Well, no. The ending was lame, but also like looking at it again, it's actually a very badly designed game, and I can tell you exactly why. It's built on a game design sin called the Leap of Faith, where half the stages, and I know this because I went back and I played it again a few years ago, most of the stages are entirely based on, like, you have to just jump over a platform and hope to God that you landed far enough or just, like, enough or whatever to land on the next one.
Yeah, but with Taz, if you made him spin when you jumped, I think it actually accelerated you.
It did, but it was still, like, it was a crapshoot. That game, objectively, is badly designed. But we were into it because I love Taz. Taz was my favorite Looney Tune.
Well, if you remember, it took us almost a year to get through the mine.
Exactly. Yeah.
Remember the
Well,
mine?
so
getting his head chopped off.
Yeah. There was those of you who have never played this game before. Basically, the plot was Taz goes out looking for a bunch of eggs belonging to this giant bird that he wants to eat or whatever. So he travels across Tasmania, and so he goes from like the desert to like that factory for a little while. There was the ice.
Factory was good. I liked the
factory was kind of tricky, but then there was the ice level where he fell in the water and he comes out in a little ice cube.
Right.
And there was a jungle, and then the thing that was killing we'd go through this game, like the first like 2/3 of this game, like 700 goddamn times, and then we get up to this mine. And did you have to like write down the order of like what you did to get through it? Like how did you remember?
It was all hand-to-eye coordination, and I mean we were at that level so many times where the coal car would go up and down and up and down.
Yeah. And you had to go faster and slower,
It got faster and slower.
And if you screw up once, you die immediately. Like this level was impossible.
We finally got to the end of that level, and then after that, it became very easy.
No, the next one after that was there was the elevator mine shaft stage, which we were caught in for a little while, and then I think after that, was just like the temple. And there was that like green like statue Taz that we had to fight against or whatever.
Yeah, on the logs, jumping in and out of
water. That was the
jungle.
jungle.
That was early. That was an easy level.
That one was kind of fun. And then
jumping on the branches with those little mice.
The bush rats. Yeah. They had all the characters from. No, it's funny. I think we saw the characters in the game before I even saw half of them in the show. And I was like, oh, it's the kid with the bow and arrow set, and it's the. No, you know what I just remembered too? We were so obsessed with that game, we made a board game out of it. We like got like a giant piece of oak tag and like a little thing.
Way too much.
Why you helped me design it for Christ's sake? Oh, okay. When you get embarrassed now, okay. But and then the sad thing was, I think Allie might have been with you when you did this because I think she helped take the pictures or something. You beat Tasmania before I was there with you to see it.
Yes.
So do you want to shed some light on that?
I took pictures of the screen.
Was Allie there with you?
No, I took pictures of the screen.
This
was when we lived in the house on Norton in Northport. I was still home.
Yeah, and it was. But no, we spent like a good part of like a year trying to beat this game. And were you just like, you know what? I just feel like sitting down and playing this like by yourself. Like you were just shooting the shit, I guess. And
I wanted to get to the next level, without you, so that when you were there, I could show you where I went. And that's how I figured out the mine.
Oh, so you memorized everything. Wow. Like, you must have had a lot of time on your hands. But, we were very sad when we learned that the ending was... the final boss of the game was this giant bird who just is, like, swiping at you with its claws or whatever and just, like, being a pain in the ass.
It's totally lame.
And then,
And then it would fall over and come back.
And so Taz gets his egg, and then it hatches, and then...
That was it. That was the egg. Yeah,
and it just chases him around.
The egg thought, Taz was the mom.
And it was just like, wow, we spent.
Now that I think about it, that game sucked. It really did. It was such a waste of a year.
But then Buster Bunny, Tiny Toon Adventures.
They were around the same time. I don't know why.
Probably, yeah. I mean, that would have made sense. That was like early '90s, like '90, like 2 or 3
the
or
game
something.
that I remember you finally getting into and playing.
Well, hold on, before was it on N64?
No.
No. Was it
Star Fox?
No, that's N64. We're
took a picture of you.
Yeah, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. I want to talk about, because you were bringing up Buster Bunny before. You're so enthused, I can tell.
Yeah.
Tiny Toons, we had a lot. Well, I think you probably watched the show with me a little bit as well.
Yeah, but of course you did.
With Steven Spielberg back when he was making cartoons, bizarrely, or producing cartoons anyway. But Buster's Hidden Treasure, that is actually a very well done game.
Now that was the one with the girl with the blonde braids kept chasing him around.
Yeah, that was Elmira. Yeah, she was. That was like way at the end. Yeah, that was another one we spent a lot of time on because like it was pretty difficult, like consistently all throughout. We'd start. I don't know if you're
alligator level they had.
That was underwater. Yeah, but I don't know if you remember this kind of joke we had, but so. On my mom's side, we had some family members in Arizona, which at the time I associated with beautiful sunsets over a gorge or whatever. And so in the early levels, there was like just the generic like green, like going through like the platforms or whatever. And then there was the version of those stages with the sunset.
Right.
And our affectionate name for those levels were, it's the Arizona levels because of the sunset.
Well, they had cactus also on that level.
No, I think it was just a regular field. But it had the what was it? It had like the da 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 ba ba da 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 ba 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 da ba, which I when I was going back and shortly before I moved to California, I was going back and watching all of the old Tiny Toons episodes again, and that tune that they used in that level was background music in some episodes of the show, and I was like, it's the Arizona levels, Dad, look, you know.
That's where it came from.
Yeah, and then I think the whole like plot was that like there was that crazy scientist who was like hypnotizing all his friends. And they had like the little helmets on their head. You remember that?
Yeah.
So about like Dizzy in the forest, little crazy purple.
Now that was the
guy.
one with I think the last level you had the scientist mustache, bald head.
No, that's Dr. Eggman. That was from Sonic.
Oh. Okay.
No, but there was also an evil scientist in Tiny Toons. Well, don't forget you portrayed the part of Dr. Eggman in our great Sonic movie that will never go on the internet.
No, I agree.
And neither will the Pokemon ones. That was another one. I remember. I think that we got stuck a couple times. We got up to a part. It was like a sunken ship level with Montana Max was in it, and there was like the water spouts like going up. And we were getting stuck on that for a while. But that game had a password system, so we could get back to where we were. And I think I was going. It might have been that same sitting.
No, there was one time we had so many codes. We were like, really.
Yeah, we were like, which one is what? Where? Yeah. It's funny. I remember. Actually, a little funny story for you. I didn't tell you this. So I went to go see the Bugs Bunny at the Opera show at the what the hell is that big soundstage in California? The one that's in like every classic Looney Tune cartoon. You know what I'm talking about? The big awning and all that. I went to go see this amazing orchestral show where...
You're not talking about the Chinese...
No, not the Chinese theater. No. It was like a sound stage. I can't remember what it's called. Every comment will crucify me. Whatever. It was this amazing Philharmonic orchestra that did, in sync with... They had the footage of all the classic Looney Tunes playing up on the screen. They were doing the background music and they did like What's Opera Doc and all like the classic ones.
Really?
And there's this one... Where I it's a classical piece. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a
Isn't that like Nutcracker Suite?
It might have been part of Nutcracker, so not our classic one that we know, but
Did they do William Tell Overture?
What No, they did not do that one, but we're gonna talk about that
was on
too.
one of the video games.
No,
right?
well, getting ahead, but we'll talk about that too. But
just
I was gonna say is that when I heard that theme when I was going to the show,
It went back
all I could think of was the password screen in Buster Bunny because the password was like 20 characters long. It was so difficult.
It was 4 letters, 4 different times.
It might have been more than that even.
I think it was like,
yeah. But I think maybe even in that same sitting where you beat Taz, I think you got ahead of where we were. I think you got past some like snow levels. And then the final stage of that one was the factory. That was where Elmira was chasing us around, and that was impossible. And then the final boss was Montana Max in the big robot suit. We had to jump on his head.
Right.
And same thing, that had some music in
It's
it.
all coming back.
I know, yeah. It's been years. Why? So, oh, God, it's all coming. Flashbacks are killing me. On the note of the Nutcracker Suite thing, so that was what had become my favorite video game of all time, Super Mario RPG, the Super Nintendo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That was right.
And that
the alligators running around.
that was Croco, yeah. And it's funny because that composition is not Nutcracker Suite, but it sounds very, very much like it. I think it's
it's William Tell Overture.
No, but you know what I mean, like the dun 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 dun.
William Tell Overture.
Right, but that wasn't what that composition in that game was. It was a kind of a parody of it. But yeah. That was also a time because I got my Super Nintendo like way later, like many years after it originally came out. So I was kind of playing catch up with a lot of those games. This was still before Pokemon kind of came to the scene and everything. But we used to still rent a lot of games from Blockbuster over and over. And that game in particular, I would keep renting, and like a new file would be on there and all that.
I think in the beginning too, before we bought a game, I kind of remember renting a game system also at Blockbuster.
There were a few times
to make sure that we liked what it was about.
Yeah. Well, no, I think we used to rent. No, now we're gonna get to the N64. Yeah. The N64 was the system of me and my dad, probably more prominently, even because we had some good times with Sega Genesis, but that was our system. And that I think what led us to, because we, again, spoiled, we had two. Because I had one at Mom's house. You bought one for your own house because you wanted to keep playing the games.
And we still have one, right? You still have one.
It doesn't work anymore. We went through, I think, like 3 different systems because they kept breaking. And yet
that's the one that was shaped like a cube?
No, that's the GameCube. No, that was afterward. But
right, that went to DVD.
No, actually, it didn't have a DVD player on it. PlayStation did. But
did we get one of those?
Yeah, we did. PlayStation we'll get to. But N64, that was like the big system. That was like late 90s. It's funny, earlier today we were reminiscing about when like Dad was kind of moving around in different places on Long Island. You moved to like 3 or 4 different places over the course of like 10 years or so. And but I distinctly remember each one by whatever the games are that we played.
That we played at that time.
Yeah, but I got my... Oh, no, actually...
You sound like a gypsy.
Traveling around, doing your beautiful
your
dance.
An upgrade.
Yes. Were you doing your mystical enchanting dances to people as well on the side? But what was it? Let me think. No, before we got our N64 though, I remember one year, I think this was like 96 or something, you couldn't get an N64 for Christmas because it was selling out everywhere. And so you gave me, and it was very sweet, but you gave me a little note where it was like, hey, Santa Claus couldn't get you an N64 this year, so here's Sonic 3D Blast on Sega Genesis instead. And I'm like, oh, that's okay, don't worry about it. And that game was awful. but it was still very well-meaning. And then the following year we got an N64, and my first 2 games were Super Mario 64 and Star Fox 64. The latter of which we played the shit out of. Yeah, and we did that together all the time.
Talk about being spoiled. When that came out, you had at my house a 55-inch rear projection screen television that weighed about 3,000 pounds.
We talked about it in our last one, in case you missed that.
We would turn the lights off in that room, and it was like flying through space.
Yeah. But you would like...
Hey, Fox, I'm hit.
Why are ships coming out of the base? No, it's funny, too.
That also had a very lame ending.
No, that was cool because then the dad came back. Remember, they fly out of the exploding planet and everything? That was a cool ending.
Did they blow up with like a big brain?
Well, the Andros was the bad guy. It was the big monkey face. Okay. See, no, this was the thing. This is what we figured out is there were, because remember when you could take different pathways on the levels, and depending on like which way you entered the final planet, either the final boss would be like a robot head, or he would turn into the brain. He had like the little tentacles that would like kill you or whatever. And then if you beat the brain, then like the ghost of Fox's dad would come in and like guide you out of the exploding planet. It was really cool. It was actually kind of cool because it's like you and me, except you're not a ghost. Thank God. And we didn't play the multiplayer too much on that one though, did we? No. I think we mainly did the single player campaign. But you were like pretty okay at that too, like.
Yeah, no, we had a good time with that.
Yeah.
And then we had some.
We had Turok. That was more your game.
Was a little bloody.
Yeah.
I used to, what are you talking about? Cutting their heads off.
Well, it's dinosaurs, whatever. I remember getting so so at that game though. That's later. Getting ahead of yourself. That's PlayStation 2. Again. Yeah. But Turok. Yeah, I know. We're gonna get there. Turok, I remember distinctly getting incredibly frustrated because, well, you remember the N64 controller was that 3-pronged kind of claw thing. Yeah. and there were so many controls and so many weird things to
And
do.
it had
It's
so
like,
many weapons.
yeah, it was like, how do I do this?
A machine gun, a pistol, a hand grenade.
Not the knife.
The bomb gun. That was the one I liked. The bomb.
Yeah, yeah. We didn't beat that game though, did we? It was too hard.
We didn't get very far at all.
Yeah. No, I remember the reason is because that game needed a memory card, and we didn't have that for the N64. It would plug into the back of it, and we didn't do that. So it was like, oh, what are we gonna do
Never
then?
saved the level.
No, so it's because only certain games would require a memory card for some reason.
We didn't play a lot of the bloody war games.
No, not really.
No.
We didn't play like Mortal Kombat or anything like that. No. Really. We had the South Park game, which sucked, but that was.
I don't remember playing.
It was a first-person shooter. It was made by the same studio that did Turok. That's why it was a shooter. And there were the turkeys everywhere. You remember that shit? No, it was really disappointing. Even the two creators thought it was awful. I'm trying to remember some other N64. Well, we had Pokemon Stadium, obviously, which we talked about at length.
Which incidentally, Chris never beat me. Not even once.
It's gonna be everything.
And I was Gengar.
Fucking Gengar. What? No, I'm trying to think. What else on N64 did we? Oh, Diddy Kong Racing. Of course. You remember Diddy Kong Racing at all?
I could not beat you with that for nothing.
Well, what we did was we had a code. And weirdly, this wasn't just like a feature on the game. You had to like unlock this somehow, where you could play the adventure mode with 2 players. But the hardest part was like we beat all the levels, we got the balloons and shit, and then the second round of each level was you had to collect the silver coins, and you had to win.
I just remember rushing up the hill.
What was that?
In one of the races, a hill.
Yeah.
But then I remember the ones you drove on a beach.
Yeah.
Chasing each other around, like big rocks. And
yeah.
And it was water, tide would come in and tide would go out.
And there was the
graphics were a lot of fun. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. And then also there's like the boss fights, like the Triceratops going around the mountain.
Exactly. That was the one who was trying to climb the top of the mountain.
Squish you if you get too close to him. Yeah. It's funny they put that Triceratops character in a Star Fox game later. It was a very bad Star Fox game, but yeah, I remember like when we had those codes, we would try to play, but it was too difficult because we both had to get all the coins and we had to win. But it was still a fun one. That was a good one. I think that might have been all like the main N64 games that we played together. After that, we had GameCube. That was like Smash Brothers, Melee, and Luigi's Mansion. Pikmin. Yeah, of course, Pikmin. Talk about Dad loves Pikmin. Talk about that a little bit.
That was a good game.
Yeah. Well, any specifics? Or?
I don't ever remember getting to a second level. I remember it was fun just having those little things.
Well, no, but you were pretty like okay at it.
Yeah. But I don't ever remember like what happened at the end. I remember then you got to a point where there was like I remember what it was. You were picking up different pieces to fix the spaceship.
Yes, that's right.
Actually, I did get to the end of that because I remember getting back on the spaceship and we took off.
I don't know if we actually I know I beat. I don't know if you actually beat the whole thing front to back.
I remember getting to the spaceship and taking
the most annoying thing in that, because they're all the little creatures that would try to eat your Pikmin and stuff. But there were those fucking birds like with the snake bodies that drill out from underground, just pick them all up.
I remember the fat thing looked like a cross between the Courage the Cowardly Dog and a pig. So they come out and eat all the little Pikmins. And
they're the little like the mushroom back like raw things or whatever. Yeah.
I like the way they chased around behind each other and they multiplied them and then you went over. That was a fun game.
Yeah, I found out later.
Came out with another Pikmin.
There was a second one, and then there was a third one where you had like 3 different characters you could control and split them up and stuff.
I think we still have those games somewhere.
I Pikmin 2 I didn't really play a whole lot of. I wasn't really digging it too much, but we had some good times with the first one for sure.
And there was another one where the body was made of a series of balls.
Remember
they used to run? We played it a lot when little Vic was here.
Oh shit!
You remember what I'm talking
Yes. About? Oh god. Yeah, I know. What the hell was that called? Was that for game? Was that earlier? Was that for N64 maybe?
I think it was after Pikmin, or maybe before Pikmin. I can't remember the name.
No,
it had very cool music.
Yeah. What the hell? I know what you're talking about. Was it a puzzle game or was it?
No, he was running. It was always run like on a series.
Oh, Vector Man.
Vector Man.
That's right. That's going way back. That was a Sega game.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was good.
No, okay. You just remember. Okay, I'm turning back a little bit, but because I just remember this. I think it was Universal that because we used to go to Universal and Disney a lot. Again, spoiled. Back in the day,
every year.
There was a place. I don't think it's there anymore, but there's no reason for it to be there anymore. But in Universal, there was this giant arcade that had every single Sega game ever, all in it, and they had all these like other systems that we didn't have and stuff.
That was in Epcot.
No, I don't think it was. I think it was Universal. I don't think it was Disney. I'm pretty sure.
Land.
Yeah. It had the big Sonic statue in the middle.
I've got photos of that.
Yeah. I think we do have that somewhere.
Yeah.
But Vector Man, that was I think Vic was also my brother. Vic was also pretty good at that. Yeah. I think I think he beat it before we did, if I'm remembering right. No, that was a good one. So GameCube, I don't think, aside from Pikmin, I don't think we really played anything else together on that one.
No, because then you started getting older and hang out with friends.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I did buy you your own copy of Pikmin to play later on like the Wii.
You did.
But okay, then so as you knew, I was primarily a Nintendo kid growing up.
Right.
But when Kingdom Hearts and the first one of the first Dragon Ball Z games that came out over here came out, what was the name of one of your coworkers? He was this really nice, like kind of like high energy Hispanic guy, and I would go to his house while you were at work, and he had like a whole shit ton of game systems. You know what I'm talking about?
Danny Bonilla.
Danny, that's right. So I played the PlayStation 2 at his house, and I was like, this system's kind of cool. I kind of want this. And then eventually we're like, fuck it, let's get it. And I think we might have gotten a used one with a whole bunch of other games because we got like Grand Theft Auto and like Gran Turismo. You played a lot of Gran Turismo.
Yeah, actually, I think he was getting the next level PlayStation. I was.
Oh, okay. So we inherited it from his. Okay.
And he gave me a whole bunch of.
So, but I remember we played Grand Theft Auto for a little while, and it was like we got bored of it really fast. Yeah. But no, Gran Torino.
And you kept wanting to pick up the hooker.
Excuse me, I didn't want to play the game in the first place. I wanted to play kiddie games like Dragon Ball Z, Budokai, and Kingdom Hearts, because I was a very disturbed child.
I don't think I ever played Kingdom Hearts.
Kingdom Hearts, no, you wouldn't have played it. You would have. That was the one with the Disney characters and the Final Fantasy guys and all that. But Gran Turismo, just the regular racing game. You played a lot of that. I remember
that we used in your video in the movie that we made.
No, that was the N64 one. You played the PlayStation 2 one.
Now.
No, there was a PlayStation 2 one. I remember because you were trying to beat the ghost recordings of like the people that made the game, and you were like hooked on that one for a while. Yeah. No, because it was a driving game. It's like, of course you'd be good at it.
But I couldn't beat you in Mario Kart.
Well, we didn't play a whole lot of Mario Kart or Diddy Kong Racing, but like in comparison, Dragon Ball Z Budokai though. You
spent some time on
and apparently you played that when I wasn't even home with Sue before you guys got engaged.
Yeah.
what kind of date is that?
She'd be in there yelling, "Kamehameha!"
Excuse me, it's Kamehameha. Thank you.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
I do the Italian version.
So what I'm actually curious. What led to like so this was before
No, I
he
think
was.
we only did it maybe once or twice. Sue wanted to be, acclimated with the game, so that when you came over,
she'd like know what the hell was talking about.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
but she didn't know. I didn't know what we were talking about.
I want to give credit because like just to fill things in again, if you maybe missed the last one. So my parents got split up early on, still remain friends, both happily remarried. There was a period for like, fair amount of time where you guys were, dating and looking around and stuff. And Sue, who is now my stepmother, was the first person that really seemed like she genuinely gave a shit about like wanting to get to know me, because it's like, when it's like, okay, let's get into a relationship, but also I have a kid, so that's part of the package. It's like, all right, and then some people are into that, some people aren't. But Sue, I think like she met me and she was like already like being super nice and everything, and I was like, all right, I'm cool with you. And, I'm sure she probably didn't know what the hell was going on in any of the games I was playing, but, like, the fact that you guys were kind of using the PS2 to bond with each other. What prompted that? Were you just like, hey, you want to play some video games?
No, she actually wanted to know, what it was that you were playing,
Didn't she have an Xbox?
Yeah.
When we moved here, I think she had an Xbox. Yeah.
But she got that for when people came home and had kids.
Oh, sure. That makes sense.
She had some pretty lame games. If you're listening, honey, you had some very lame games.
Probably like
I think
FIFA
they
or
also
something.
used it for like dance or something like that.
Oh, like the DDR kind of games and
Yeah.
stuff, if they even had that, yeah.
And then I got her the mat that you plugged into it.
Yeah, where you could like step on the air. Oh, yeah, so she
which was pretty much ahead of its time.
Yeah. Well, that's really hot in arcades.
We
still.
used it. They
No?
hung over the end of our ping pong table for like 3 years. All we did was move them room to room. But I think we just got rid of that, unless she has it downstairs. Somebody sold it.
Yeah. I think that might have been like the
Xbox
end.
is Microsoft.
Yes, it is.
You never wanted for one.
Not until the 360 came out,
Right.
and I got that. And actually,
I was going to say, didn't we get you that for Christmas?
that was my okay. So embarrassing story, everybody. And it's funny because we're recording this on the 21st of December. So again, we're time traveling. We're cheating a little bit. But I wished for my 360 for Christmas one year because I really, really wanted Sonic the Hedgehog 2006, and I didn't know that it was the worst game ever made yet, because it wasn't out yet. And I was excited for it, because I don't care that Silver the Hedgehog and the Human Princess is in it, I want to play that shit. And I got it, and I opened it up on Christmas Day, or maybe even Christmas Eve, I think, because we would usually do Christmas Eve together, and then I would do Christmas Day with my mom. But I opened it up that night, and I played it, and I was like, oh, this is bad. Oh, I feel so bad. But what was cool is that Skullgirls game that I worked on, that I did animation for, came out and I could play it on 360, so I was able to play it and see my work on it.
That's
so it was
cool.
wound out okay. And then it red rained and died. So, which that system was notorious for. I think that might have been the ends. Like, have you really played much of anything else since then, or not? I guess not.
No, you got to the point where it was, like play with your friends, hang out with your friends.
I abandoned old Datafer.
You didn't abandon me. It's called growing up.
Oh well, I mean, I don't know, but
Quite honestly, I was getting tired of playing the video games myself.
really.
Well, because you weren't into any of the ones that I was. We'd pick your car, design your car, make it a Ferrari, and then
I
do
mean,
races.
I did like
and time trials.
I did like watching you play
Yeah,
Gran
'cause you were
Turismo.
terrible.
Well,
You were
yeah,
terrible.
well,
You
of
used to
course
crash
I
into
was
the wall.
terrible. Yeah.
So that was the one that we used when we made our Pokemon movie. Remember when
No, but it wasn't that game. It was an N64 racing game that I think we just rented.
But it was very interesting. What we had to do was the Pokemon took over our apartment.
This was in the movie we made. If you missed the last one, we were
Mike
talking
Lucas,
about.
if you're familiar with Mike Lucas, Chris's longtime friend, Mike Lucas was laying down on the side of the bed,
No, but that was the second one he was in. I think it was me doing it.
working the controller.
Yeah.
I thought it was.
No, Mike came in the second one, but we rented.
Well, they took over the computer system and they were playing the cars and he turned them around and was driving the wrong
and just
way in
bashing them into the
traffic,
walls and shit.
It was
Yeah.
actually a good.
It was pretty
a
funny.
Good segment
Yeah.
of our homemade visit.
That you will never see ever.
So I downloaded to YouTube. And Chris goes back to
You
LA.
will never find out how to do that.
I have the master copy.
But you will never find out the method of converting that to a video file and uploading it anywhere.
Okay. My
yeah.
wife happens to work for CBS Television and Internet Technology. I'm sure.
I've
she can
issued the
figure it out.
challenge now. Yeah, you're
She
not.
can figure
Yeah,
it
I'm not letting you put those up anywhere for anything. There's no way.
I'll send it to you first.
Nope. You can send it to me, and then I'll keep them. I'll delete them and keep them stored away forever
All right.
into the depths of nothing.
You don't want to even put up the clip of Mike Lucas with if anyone knows what a colander is, something that you rinse spaghetti out.
What?
A colander.
What are you talking about?
That's what you put spaghetti in when you.
Oh, when we were trying to capture the Pokemon and shit.
No, but that was what we gave him as a helmet. Remember, you had that.
Oh well, no. What did
Yeah,
you had like a pan or something? What did you have?
I don't know what the hell.
And then I was
Things out of the
I
kitchen,
was
but-
pacing around. And you were like, "Can you stop pacing? I feel like I'm in a Mel Brooks movie." Which I don't know why you thought I would get that joke at like 10, but
No, but whoever watched the movie that was an adult thought it was great.
yeah,
Mike had a what was Mike using as a weapon?
probably like a squirt gun or some shit. I don't even
No,
know.
I think he had like the chrome pipe from my vacuum cleaner. It was like so.
Makeshift.
It was.
Oh god, yeah. I'm really trying to remember if there were any other like major games that we played together. Well, Pokemon Stadium I think was probably the one that you remember the most just because of
You never beat me. at
I
Pokemon
did though.
Stadium.
I beat you. I did once or twice maybe.
Or Monopoly.
Well, Monopoly. Monopoly, I don't want to play with you anymore because it's just like whenever we have people over and Dad's like, "Do everyone want to play Monopoly?" And I'm just like, "No, because you're gonna win. You win every single time we play Monopoly."
It's like Pokemon Stadium.
God. Well, I guess as we've kind of recounted our whole history, we did talk about this a little bit in the Pokemon one,
Yeah, we did.
but and this is kind of a side thing, but we did watch a lot of cartoons together, and I met one of the people who helped create Angry Beavers when I was in California recently, and I told him that you and I watched that show a lot together, and his response was, "Good, I'm glad because I wish more kids and their parents would watch cartoons together." And, we're talking about video games.
Yeah.
How do you, again, we talked a bit about this before, but how do you feel about the idea of, like, parents and their kids playing video games together and as a bonding experience?
Well, I think it's healthy. I mean, look, it worked for us until you became a flat lever. But, between the video games and the cartoons that we both got into, as far as, me knowing the characters along with you, which made it much easier for me to go out and shop for holidays or not even non-holidays. But, we always bought, fun stuff. Went to when they opened up the Pokemon store in Manhattan. We were probably one of the first people in there.
Probably.
Pulling the different characters off. That's how we wound up with such a big collection. The Dragon Ball Z character, even the Power Rangers.
Well, that was way before that, yeah.
But
Still have a huge
Power Rangers
collection.
wasn't my cup of tea.
No.
But You know,
Did
we
you-
had a good
Did
time
you
with it.
did you take me to see the movie with Ivan Ooze?
Yes.
Like, yeah, well,
Yes.
probably because we.
Then we bought it on VHS the moment it came out, and you watched it 12,000 times.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
almost as many times.
Funny
as
story.
Thomas the Tank Engine.
My dad used to think that Lord Zed was voiced by Christopher Sabat doing his Kuwabara voice from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Oh,
and
I
that,
swore by it.
I know,
Yeah,
and that
yeah.
I think, you know what? I think that might have been something that spurred me into my whole like superpower of like becoming a walking, talking voiceover encyclopedia by this point. Because it's funny, now I have met the two different actors that have played both of those characters. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
So I
totally.
was right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
stand corrected.
so there. But
Still
well,
haven't beat me in Pokemon.
But,
And I challenge you right here and now.
if we had it, I would play it. But we don't have a working system, unfortunately. So and, yeah, well, no, we'll see.
You live another day.
If you even remember how to play the game.
I remember.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hypnosis and Dream Eater. The end.
That's it.
But well, you know, the other thing too is, and I said this last time, but you know, a lot of younger generations, like people who are my age or maybe a little older, are starting to, you know, get married and start a family, have kids of their own, etc. And a lot of those guys are people that grew up in, you know, the 80s and 90s when a lot of like these classic games that you and I played, you know, first came out, and they grew up with those like in my position. So I don't know, gaming is so like kind of ingrained in our modern culture. I mean, they have like award shows and all this, you know, like E3 and all these big events for it now. And in fact, I'm doing probably PAX East, which is a really big convention for gaming in April.
But I think like most of the gaming now that I see, you know, Halo, they're all war games. They're all shoot.
A lot of the big mainstream ones
So,
are, yeah.
You know, today what you showed me in the store with the Disney system and the piece that you put on, I guess that's been around. a couple of
Disney
years.
Infinity, yeah, for a little while.
It's been around
Yeah.
for a couple of years. That to me would be more interactive father-children.
Yeah.
Not just father.
Yeah.
Than some, you know, because I'm not going to sit down. If I was
Play Call of Duty or whatever.
exactly.
Yeah,
If I was a 20-something parent, it's one thing to do that with your buddies online on a Sunday afternoon after
Sure.
a football game, whatever. But
Yeah.
to sit down with your 7 or 8-year-old and to be
Blowing
throwing hand grenades,
blowing
and
people's
blowing
heads
things
off,
up,
yeah,
and
yeah.
It's like they become so violent versus to me they like the Torah. So.
Well,
And
that's
we
the thing.
didn't enjoy that.
But Turok was the only game we really had that was like that, and I was like, this is whatever. And,
Yeah.
Because I've never really liked first person shooters.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I mean, you know what? But like, still, like, I mean, Pokemon is still huge. Like, all of Nintendo's major stuff is still huge.
Oh, I remember played a lot.
That we didn't talk about.
Yeah.
What's that?
The Lion King.
Oh, for Genesis.
Yeah.
That game probably sucked also. Yeah, throw the monkeys throwing you everywhere. Oh
No,
god.
that was him jumping on the
Yeah.
giraffes' heads.
And then the monkeys would be
Yeah,
throwing
we
you all over the
played that
place.
a
Yeah,
lot.
that game was also really bad.
Well, we played that a lot.
We did play it a lot. I don't think we
We'll
ever
make
beat
fun
it.
of what I enjoyed,
Well, we didn't beat it.
but those were good times.
Yeah,
they
of
were
course.
good memories, and I hope we're not boring all of you.
No.
with this.
I mean, if they've listened this far, they're clearly not bored. But no, I agree. That's a good point. The Disney Infinity, the Skylanders, a lot of that stuff, I think, is a good way to bond between kids and their
Well, I mean, I
parents.
found it very interesting. I had no idea that how you set it up was different.
Oh yeah.
Characters. Talk about marketing.
But the toy, and it's a video game,
Yeah.
and it's a thing. There's
and
no
they
yeah.
change it, and every time you turn around, there's another character.
Oh yeah, yep. There's hundreds by this point for
Yeah.
all those. But Disney Infinity is huge because now they have Marvel and Star Wars and all these different classic characters that they can all put in one thing together. It's huge, and from every generation of everything, it's like, oh, they got the figures.
Isn't it a big selling system?
Oh yeah. Well, it's not. It's just a game and a toy line, and it's for all of the major systems.
Okay.
So you can play it on any of them, on Xbox, on PlayStation, Wii U, whatever you want.
And who's the manufacturer?
That's Disney. That's just
It's
Disney.
all
They do
Disney.
it all themselves. Yeah, Disney is absorbing all these major things
Yeah.
now, and my one of my neighbors and I are waiting for the day that they might buy a Nintendo, and then just like the time space will rip apart and a Cthulhu will come out and destroy us all.
All right, so I guess we're going to wrap it up.
All right. Well, you know what? Actually, as this is also the first Kirblog of 2016, do you have any things to say to all the young listeners out there about
Well, if I
approaching the new
I
year?
would say Merry Christmas to everyone. Happy holiday to those who do not.
Well, Christmas is already passed by the time this is coming out.
No,
so.
I said I hope you had a let's
You had
back this up.
past tense.
Shut this down.
No,
Shut it down.
never. Too late. I'm keeping it all in.
I hope you all had a very, very nice holiday, whatever you celebrate. And from our home to your home, stay in touch with your children
If you have them.
if you have them.
I don't know if anybody listens to this has their own kids.
And as you get older,
Stay in touch with your family and your parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's all good.
What?
So,
And you don't have any 2016 resolutions as we're time traveling right now? No.
yes,
Yes. Okay. What are they?
to continue beating you at Pokemon Stadium.
Even though we haven't played it. That's going to wrap us up. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. In the comments below, tell us, do you have any fond memories of, maybe not even just playing video games, but, I don't know, watching cartoons, going out camping, I don't know. Just tell us your story about your experiences bonding with your own folks. Let us know in the comments. And now, again, as we were approaching, and whether we entered the new year at this point, sorry. If you have ideas and suggestions for future Kirbodad topics, leave a comment about all of those as well. Thank you again all for listening and tuning in, and whether you're a new listener or an old listener, sticking around since the beginning, whatever. Always appreciate it. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter, Tumblr, Facebook, whatever you want for future Kirbodad topic suggestions. Dad, thank you for joining me.
Well, I'd like for everyone to keep out for my new blog coming out, Kirbodad. I'll be
get their hopes
I'll be
up.
giving tips as to how to
Sell cars.
how to go into your parents' wallet at night when they're sleeping and
Wow.
use their credit cards
Wow.
and whatnot. Soupy Sales did that.
Yeah, I know. You're a horrible influence.
Just kidding.
Don't get their hopes
It's
up.
been fun. Happy 2016. And if you don't want Kirbodad on anymore, you can write that into Kirb, and he'll definitely
You might
get
be.
rid of me like he got rid of me and my partner.
Well, you might be coming to visit next year or
Maybe
this
in May.
this
Maybe
year.
in May we're
So
gonna be
so maybe when you're here, maybe we'll do another one together.
Okay.
Okay.
When I'm here.
No, when you're there. We're in New York right now. Time travel. Anyway, goodbye everybody. Fare thee well, etc.